Lesson title: Visualizing Solid Shapes. Grade 7. Duration: 45 to 60 minutes. Materials needed: whiteboard and markers or chalkboard and chalk. Paper and pencils for each student. Various solid objects, e.g., cubes, rectangular prisms, pyramids, cones, spheres. Geometry textbooks or reference materials. Worksheets or handouts, optional. Objectives: by the end of the lesson, students will be able to understand the concept of three-dimensional, 3D, shapes. Visualize and identify common 3D shapes. Describe the properties of 3D shapes, including faces, edges, and vertices. Create simple 3D shapes from 2D representations. Lesson outline. Introduction, 10 minutes. Begin the lesson by discussing the importance of visualizing solid shapes in everyday life. Show students real-life objects or pictures of common 3D shapes like cubes, spheres, and cones. Ask students if they can name any of the shapes and what they know about them. Main activities, 30 minutes. Activity 1, Introduction to 3D Shapes, 10 minutes. Discuss the characteristics of 3D shapes, including faces, edges, and vertices. Draw examples of 3D shapes on the board and label their faces, edges, and vertices. Have students create their own sketches of 3D shapes in their notebooks and label them. Activity 2, Visualizing 3D Shapes, 10 minutes. Show students different 2D representations of 3D shapes, e.g., nets. Discuss how these 2D representations can be folded to create 3D shapes. Provide examples of simple 2D shapes that can be folded to make cubes, rectangular prisms, etc. Have students work in pairs or small groups to fold their own 2D representations into 3D shapes. Activity 3, Identifying and describing 3D shapes, 10 minutes. Show students various 3D objects, real objects or pictures. Ask them to identify and describe the shapes they see. Encourage them to count the faces, edges, and vertices of each shape. Discuss the results as a class. Guided practice, 10 minutes. Provide worksheets or handouts with exercises related to identifying and describing 3D shapes. Walk around the classroom to assist students and address any questions or difficulties. Conclusion, 5 minutes. Review the key points of the lesson, what 3D shapes are, their characteristics, and how to visualize them. Ask students if they have any questions or if there's anything they found challenging. Assign homework or additional exercises related to 3D shapes if desired. Assessment. You can assist students understanding through their participation in class activities and by reviewing their completed worksheets or handouts. Additionally, you may consider giving a short quiz or having them create their own 3D shapes from nets as a follow-up assessment.